A person sitting in front of you, through their recollection, can stop the natural order of time and reverse it. And then there is this multiplicity of benefit that grows from that, for research, for scholarship, for the telling of history.
Dublin Port Memory and Story Project is an incredible oral history project that started back in 2019, where we get the chance to chat to former port workers and record their memories and their stories of a Dublin and of an industry that doesn't exist anymore.
Any characters? They were all characters. Everybody was a character down the docks. And you knew all about them. They could all sing, they could all dance, they could all tell stories about Dublin and the rare old times, if you like. And there were some great characters in it.
Coal dust would get into your eyebrows and into the side of your eyes and up your nose. When you were washing yourself with the soap, it was very funny to look in the mirror because you now had these beautiful mascara eyes.
It blew my mind the first day I walked in as a 16-year-old. It was like walking back in time, but there was purpose, and I could feel the path that I was on a path to something.
You see, every single human experience contributes to the telling of our story. So if we're trying to capture the story of Dublin Port, then we can't do that unless we have the human experiences that make up that.
Now, I was 14 then. I was put into the woodworking factory, clear away the sawdust.
My mother, she was a farmer's daughter, County Clare, and then she went into the Dublin Port and Docks Port.
It'll be of huge value to future societies when, in 50 years or 100 years' time, our, future Irish people or beyond get to look back and listen to these stories. We get to chat to the port workers about their social life. That includes times gone by like dance halls and cycling here and not having cars, and it represents an Ireland that's gone.
I was going for an interview for this job, and I had to climb down onto a raft, and I went into the water, and then I had to go. I said, what do I do now? It's 12 o'clock. So I said, can I walk over? I'll probably be dry. But I wasn't. Sat down with with engineer Paddy McLaughlin and Scotsman called Archie Bell. I sat there and water running off me after being in the dry dock, wet dock. To my absolute joy, after whatever it was, maybe an hour, I don't know. When can you start? I started off, I was working on the dockside cranes. Later on, I went onto the tugboats, and they were out in pretty bad weather at times, That got a few little scares there, all right, but generally speaking, it was okay.
We are a port city. Well over 1,000 years of Irish history, we've been reliant on shipping. But it's only when you hear the authentic voice of somebody experienced working in an organisation do you learn what really happened.
The bowel stories and the things that probably shouldn't have happened are always my favourite to talk about.
The kids playing around the ships, taking, like a few tea leaves from the tests.
There is nothing as profound as the human voice. If we look into the past and the way history is documented, we've had the written word for many decades and centuries. We've had photographs, and we can see aspects of our collective story through those resources. But what we don't have in most of those cases are recorded voices.
We have over 300 retired staff. So it was very important that the retired staff, I felt, were interviewed to hear their stories. A lot of people that we're talking to are in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And you have a limited amount of time to capture those stories. For us and for Tomas and Tara, there was always a rush when we get contacted by somebody to kind of, try and arrange a meeting and get out there. So for us, there is that time element. There's a little window to kind of capture some very significant stories about the port and the history of the port.
The stories are of such importance, and I know that you're looking back thinking, I went into work and I had my friends and that was it, but Dublin Port was of such importance and is of such importance. So if anyone has any kind of a memory, any kind of a story, any kind of a connection to Dublin Port, we're dying to hear from you.
For me, it has been like a very enriching and lovely project because it has really given me like a human understanding of the maritime world and the port world.
It would be quite easy to overlook the significance of memory, the significance of oral tradition. But this project, I think, does demonstrate the recognition that Dublin Port have for that value, for the cultural importance of those people who worked in the past.
Memory to me is of huge importance, and it's an important way to capture the story of Dublin Port in a way that's human, in a way that's emotional, and in a way that's real and raw.
It's exciting to be able to get that opportunity to do it for an institution as significant as Dublin Port, because there'll be somebody in the future who will press play and hear the voice of their grandfather, to hear the voice of their father or their mother.
I worked in the port for 40 odd years, taking in ships, taking them out, and they gave me a few bob every week.
Even though we're gone, it's still the heart of the city. It's still the lifeblood of the city.